What's up, folks? Welcome to another episode of the 10 Horse Money YouTube channel, and it's post-frontal conditions. Had a pretty heavy duty front move through. Water temps are like 49, air temps are 46, but the sun is out. Really light wind, and it's wintertime fishing. We're kind of fishing some bluffy stuff, just getting started. Got a few hours to try to make something happen, and gonna be throwing a jerkbait a little bit, underspin, maybe shaky head and a jig. See if we can get bit on one of those baits. Here we go. There he is. There he is. Look at a striper. Little bass. Little bass. That stomach stick. There we go. Not much of a fish, but it is a bite. Just fishing right along this bluffy type stuff. Just a little stomach stick. Cute fish. I'm throwing this Strike King J300. It's a deep diver, and you know, I flipped it out and it's not suspending. So I'll show you what it looks like when it's not suspending. So you just kind of toss it out there, pull it down, jerk it a couple times, and just keep an eye on it, see what it does. Give it slack line, and it's floating up real slow. You know, not bad, but it is floating up kind of slow. And that's okay, but I like them to actually suspend or sink. So we're going to make an adjustment to this. I'll show you what we do. We're just going to take a split ring, put it on that front hook hanger, and see if we can get this sucker to suspend. Okay, I've just added a little split ring. You can see that on the hook hanger there, right to the eye of the treble hook. Let's flip this thing out and see if it's doing what we need it to do. Just going to pull it like this, jerk it a couple times, and watch what happens. Give it some slack. And it is suspending and barely falling. See if I can get it up here a little closer to the top of the water. That's what you want it to do right there. Nose down. I like the nose down, and it's suspended. It's actually perfect. So all I did was add one little split ring on there, and you got a suspending bait. You can change the hook size if you need to add a lot more weight, but a lot of times just a little split ring is all you need. These jerk baits are real sensitive to suspension, and a lot of times it doesn't take much. There you go, that fish hit that on the way up. Nothing big, but just reeling that bait in, it came up and grabbed it. Go. You see right here, we got a little bit of grass coming out off this bluff. This isn't a deep bluff, you know, the boat's in like 12.5. But any kind of irregularity, just a little underwater point, little secondary points, just little rock slides, a little bit of grass. Just anything that's different is a high percentage area. If the wind was blowing in here, fish would be all over this most likely. But we got slick conditions today, but we're still catching a few fish. It's not ideal jerkbait day. Water temp's a little bit warm, but you can still pick up a few fish if you just keep after it. So any kind of wood on a bluff is key. This fish will suspend up underneath it. You definitely want to make multiple casts to that wood, because it's just one of those irregularities along a straight bluff. There he is, on the pause, right off that tree. A little fish. Get up in here. Alright. Just kind of came off that little tree right there. You know, this is not the best day for jerkbaiting. Obviously, you want a little bit of wind, but even in less than ideal conditions, you can still catch a few fish on a jerkbait. It's fun too. It is fun. And the water's like 49 or 50. Really starts getting strong when it gets in the mid 40s. Shad kind of starts getting funky, dying, getting sluggish, and the bass feed up. Let's talk a little bit about how Bluff is set up and how the bass set up on the bluffs. You know, you've got a couple different kinds of bluffs. You got just a straight drop. Those are the ones that I tend to shy away from this time of the year. You want something, in my opinion, that's got a little bit of a break and then a ledge. So steep bluff, this is coming out in about 14, 15, and then it drops off in about 25. So you got a little ledge. You know, one of the things to look for in a bluff is any kind of a transition area. There's some bluffs that just drop straight off, and then there's some that kind of taper out, and then they'll have an edge. You know, this bluff here, it's kind of coming out at a slow angle and then drops off in about 14, 15 foot. So what'll happen is, you know, if the wind is blowing in on this bluff, those fish will pull up shallow. You know, they'll be sitting in 5, 6, 7 feet. On a day like today, where there's no wind, it's calm, bluebird skies, they're gonna sit on that drop. So the steeper the bluff, the closer you wanna get to it. If you've got your drop out here, you know, 20 feet off the bank, a lot of times you need to be making that cast and fishing over the top of that drop. Look at all these fish down here. Good looking spot right here. There he is. Right off that point there. A little bit better fish. Right off that point on the pause. Just went to hit it again and got heavy. Still catching small ones, but we are finding a little bit out. This key's been to kind of cast parallel to this bluff. They're out here, they're sitting down a little bit deeper, just trying to see if they'll come up and grab this. And you know, I'm kind of asking a lot of them are down there like 15 foot, trying to make them come up to about 6, and it's working a little bit. I might pick up that Strike King J300 and see if I can get down there a little bit deeper. Just throwing the spermic stick. I kind of picked this translucent. This is I think it's called Ghost Magic Purple, and it's got a little bit of white on the belly, but it's mostly translucent, and this water is really clear. Sunny day, no wind. You need something that's kind of, you know, translucent. There we go, folks. Not that big of a fish, but they all count. It is fun. Just trying to put the little pieces together. It's slick conditions out here. You know, probably a better way to catch these fish, but we're gonna keep plugging away and see if we can make something else happen. Look at these fish, man. It's a good group of fish out here. Boats right on top of them. I'm gonna spin around, throw an underspin, maybe a jerkbait through them, see if I can get them to bite. They're just kind of roaming around. See if we can get one more bite. I'm seeing a little bit of bait flipping around here, so Thinking there's some bass in the area. It's usually how that works. Get one to bite. It's been pretty slow. A lot of these bigger fish are out deep. I mean, probably the best thing to do today was to drag something in the grass out off the main lake points. But I don't want to get out here and try these bluffs. And just way it goes sometimes. Lucky to catch a few fish. Boat is sitting in almost 40 feet of water. So nice steep bluff. Coming to a bluff end. And that's a high percentage area. You know, this lake doesn't have bluff ends like, you know, Table Rock or Lake of the Ozarks, where, you know, you get an end of a bluff and there's a point off of it and it goes back into a cove. You know, that's not the way this lake is set up. But this is kind of a bluff and it goes back into this cove, and then it starts tapering off and getting flatter. So it's kind of the best representation of a bluff end that we have on this lake. All right, we're gonna make a little bit of adjustment. I came through an area that had a lot of fish. I caught a few on a jerkbait, but I saw a lot of fish down the bottom, more than I thought. I should have caught more on that jerkbait. So we're gonna go through that same area with a shaky head and a jig and see if we can get some of these fish to trigger. They're in the area. Just gotta figure out if they want to bite something different. Uh-oh. Got him. Came down through here with jerkbait, and I knew there was more fish in here. Sure enough, we caught one of them. Not big fish, but still just was curious to see if I can come down through here with something else. It's a little guy. It's a Debo dink, but it counts. This is on that crocodigator swamp bug, on a crocodigator shaky head, 15-pound test. Really cool little bait. It's like a helgamite with a grub tail. Something different. I mean, I was told this is a pretty good cold water bait. So I'm just out here playing around with it. First time fishing it. Not a little one, but oh man, I'm getting smaller. Little swamp bug. All the big fish are out here deeper. So why am I not fishing deeper? I don't know. I don't know. Man, we are on the little fish today, guys. Holy cow. Little fish pattern. There he is. Man, they're on the small fish today. Holy moly. Debo, you've cursed me, my brother. Debo. Debo. Instead of hitting that with my rod tip, I'm just going to drop this auto Trieve down there. Just like that. Now it saves your rod tips. I could have just poked that down there and probably knocked it off, but I could see the bait. And that little auto Trieve is super handy, man. Just right there on the front deck. Just hook it on your line, drop it down there, and don't have to worry about busting your rod tips. snaps back up like that. Retractable. Moving on. There he is. Off that little ledge. A little guy. Crappie. A little crappie. We are on the small fish pattern today. Just the way it is. There he is. Bluff end. Easy. There we go, folks. It's gonna wrap it up. I mean, didn't catch anything big today, but we did manage to catch a few fish in post-frontal conditions. We had a really heavy cold front come through, and yesterday was like 37 degrees. We had like 1.5 inches of rain. You know, just one of those days. Lucky to get a few bites and just fishing bluffs with a jerkbait. Like I mentioned earlier, if you get some wind blowing in an area that has bluffs, those fish are going to pull up and they're going to get a lot more aggressive. A day like today, they're out there deeper, and I was lucky just to catch what I caught. So subscribe to the channel if you have not. Give me a thumbs up if you appreciate the content, and until next time.